Welcome to Rewriting Real Estate, Millionaire Moves and Modern Tactics with your host, Kimberly Falker, a coach, mentor and strategist for agents who are ready to scale smarter. On this show, you'll learn from high-performing agents who are building their empires with innovation, intention and no apologies. Whether you're an experienced agent stuck at a plateau or a rising star ready to fast-track your success, this podcast gives you the real-world tactics, mindset shifts, and lessons learned from those rewriting the rules.
Today, I'm joined by Bill Olson, who's a Charleston-based realtor, and he's actually built his brand in a very unique way. He does hyper-local news style on Instagram, and he now, 75% of his business comes from this particular idea. So let's listen in for a great interview. So, Bill, the reason I've brought you on is because you've been so impressive with your hyper-local content, and you're in Charleston, South Carolina. And so I'm just curious, before we get started into that focus, most realtors didn't start off in real estate. Who were you before real estate?
I was a almost 16-year career server bartender.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then how did real estate find you?
Real estate found me because I had just gotten married. My wife worked for the hospital, still does, on the administrative side. So working in the bar, bartending, any consecutive days I worked, we were like ships in the night.
Oh, good point.
She would get home and I'd be gone. I would get home and she would be asleep. She would leave for work and I was asleep. So I needed something and can't sit at a desk. I don't have a college degree. So I called a friend that had done real estate who transitioned from restaurants. And I literally told him, I go, scare me out of this.
Oh, really?
And we had a 2-hour conversation. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I wanted to know everything.
Aww.
I was like, don't tell me you're going to be great. I was like, tell me how hard it's going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, talk to me about this. And we did. I wish I still had those notes. That was 11 years ago. Almost 11 years ago. That's how I ended up here. Been licensed for 10 years.
So when you first started your journey in real estate, did you find it easy, or how did you get started and how did it start scaling for you?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate when I started to start with a brokerage that had a relocation division.
Oh,
so with the corporate military relocations, I was able to get on that team because of my customer service skills from the restaurant background. So that kind of boosted me and gave me experience. If you've ever worked with those companies, you know that they take a very large chunk of your commission.
They do.
But at the same time, I was like, you know what? This is helping me learn.
Right.
And it was great. And that helped me along. That helped me learn the ropes. It got me clients while I could build my business that wasn't taking the big chunk out.
It does. You're right. Relocation is a hidden, not so great thing.
Yes, it's good. It has its pros and cons.
It sure does. To your point,
just starting out, it was great.
To put the reps in to get better.
Yeah, but it felt really good when I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't need that anymore.
That's huge.
And it felt great. I was like, I could make the same amount of money and work less? Is this real? That's honestly how I looked at it.
Well, that's how I mentor agents.
More time with my family.
Like I mentor agents to just go into a different price point. And you can do
it's the same thing.
Half the amount, make the same amount, and do other things. Yeah, but too many people are afraid that. It's like, it's not hard to break into the luxury or the next price point. You just have to be intentional about it. And I always coach agents to do open houses in a price point that you aspire to be in, because then you're going to learn it and go preview every single house in that price point so that you become an expert, and then you're comfortable. Then you're like, okay, houses in this price need this kind of kitchen, need this kind of bathroom. You become an expert at it.
Yeah. Little side note, you actually might not know this. I'm in the process of doing that right now.
Oh, good.
Trying to break into a different sector of our market. Now here in Charleston, we have this big historic market downtown. And look at me, like I don't dress like an agent who sells historic properties. Sorry, I'm a little dressed down today. I usually wear polo, shorts, tennis shoes. Like, that's me. That's how I'm comfortable. And so I really want to break into this market because it's like the pantsuits, I call it. And they're better than everyone.
It's the Old South.
It is the very Old South. It is a who, not what you know market. And I'm like,
however,
you know
what you know does matter in that market too.
It does. But it is that market runs in circles. They've got their circles. I'm not in those circles and I really don't want to be. But over the past, I'm about maybe 3 weeks in to this, because I know we want to talk about Instagram, but this is on TikTok. I'm doing historic home tours. Up to
I've
10
seen
minutes
a couple
long.
of them. They're really good.
I learned from Roland Osage and Matt Petrullo.
I'm talking to him tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So I talked with them, and I'm doing 3 historic home tours every week, and it's getting me in the houses. You're learning about them. You're researching the history.
Don't you? Yeah.
And I don't like to do open houses. My kids are 8 and 6. Even if I have my own listing, I'll give an open house to someone who doesn't have kids. I want my weekend time with my kids, and I'm build a business where I can do that. And don't get me wrong, if I had an $18 million listing, I'd be doing an open house in a day. But so before you go and judge me, but like you said, like I'm immersing myself in this market where I've only sold 1 home downtown so far. But if you're not there every day doing it, so now every week and a half, I'm out filming
learning it.
4, maybe 5 home tours.
You're learning the product that you want to sell.
And you're learning it, yes. And
that's
setting
what
myself up in front of the world as the expert. They don't know I haven't sold anything yet. Just a little side note.
A lot of the
fits
stuff
in with
in
that.
real estate is a bit smoke and mirrors. Even back when I was licensed in 2004 and there wasn't all the social media, but that's exactly what I did. Is I did other people's open houses. And I had 2 babies at home, but I was doing 4 a weekend in the area and the price point I wanted to work in. And that's you. Then when you're at a cocktail party or at friends' houses, a cookout, everybody wants to talk about houses, and you're like, oh, you wouldn't believe the kitchen I was just in last week. And then it just becomes an expertise. But let's get back into your. So
sorry, that was just a side note because it fit in with what you were saying there.
I think it's really important for agents that are listening that want to, because too many agents, especially when they first start, think that they have to start as a buyer's agent in the first-time home buyer's price point, and then and a lot of seasoned agents tell new agents this. First, you have to run through the paces of the first-time home buyer, and then once you get enough experience with that, then you're allowed to get into that next price point and do a listing, but you can't do a listing until you've learned. And I think it's backwards, and all the agents that I coach and mentor, I'm like, start where you want to be and get in there and become an expert as fast as possible. I'm here in Tampa Bay, and the waterfront are very specialized, to your point, like the historic homes, and there is like a inner circle agents that that you see it all.
There's terminology and there's everything about it.
You learn it, and then another thing that I like to tell agents to do is go to the open houses of those price points, meet those agents that are in the inner circle, and then also watch how they work at an open house. Watch what they say and hang around it a little bit. Get in the world of where you want to be. And the more you're there, the more they see you. And then we're like, oh, hey, I saw you last weekend. Yep. And so it's a
so
psychology
awkward when
thing.
you get that first listing that they think should
or
have
if you
been
have
theirs.
a buyer for that.
You build that rapport
yeah.
with other agents to where
Yeah.
you're competing against another agent, even if you've never
Right.
done a deal with them.
100%,
That agent's like,
yeah.
you know what? They helped me, or they're a great guy, or they're a great
Yeah.
girl, or
they're like,
anything
hey, Bill, I saw you last weekend. Oh, I'm previewing this house for, and this is what I also tell agents, I'm previewing this house for a buyer. I don't actually have that buyer yet, but it's in the ethos of the world that at some point that buyer is going to come to me. You know? If you're like,
your network. I call it my network.
Yeah.
It's my social media following is my network.
It's that buyer that I know for some reason is going to move to my area. I don't know them yet, but I know they're going to find me.
Throw it out into the universe and make it happen.
So you started off, you were at a brokerage, you worked in relocation, and then you broke off on your own. When did you start this hyper-local thought process, or how did you learn about it, and what's been the journey with that?
So I'll take you through the journey of like my whole video marketing.
Oh, sure.
We'll start back. So back before YouTube was big, and met a few agents who were on YouTube, Karen Carr, Malcolm Lawson, Christina Smallhorn. And this is before everybody was on.
Right.
And they're like, this is what you need to do. And I was like, I'll do it. I had already been doing video, like that digital mayor type stuff, if you remember that. Like, go out and interview all the business owners. Never worked, and it was a lot of work. So I was comfortable.
And we can chase these shiny objects and get really stuck in them and feel like we're busy because we're videoing all the time.
And so I got into YouTube, and I just became a student of the platform, of the long form content. And for 6.5 years, I was on YouTube. I haven't posted a video in a while. I need to get back on it. I keep saying that. But still, I have the most subscribed channel about Charleston, recently crossed over 1 million views, still getting leads from it by building this encyclopedia of knowledge to relocate to Charleston. And that was that audience, because I knew what people were asking from the relocation division. I knew what people were asking. I knew what they wanted. So I've built this library. And after 6.5 years of making long form content, week in and week out, you get burnout and it takes a toll on you. And I needed to take a step back. And right as that happened, Instagram blew up. And it started with a few videos of just reporting on local happenings. And I'm not saying not like a food blogger or events or anything. I refer to it, my umbrella, as most of what I cover in my news is projects, developments, and infrastructure. This is the main thing. It's all public knowledge from city council meetings and everything. And I just started telling people about this because our clients, whether they're buying or selling, especially buying, you're driving around, there's an empty lot and they see an excavator over there. What's happening there?
Right.
And you go, well, I gotta go look it up. You go look it up and you tell them. Okay, then what do you do with that knowledge? Why don't you throw it out there for everybody?
Right.
And put it on Instagram. So I started doing that. And
when was this?
Last September. We're only coming up on a year.
Okay.
Feels like we're doing it forever. So that happened in September. I had 1,400 followers on pretty much a dead Instagram. I post there every once in a while. Next month, maybe this week, I will hit 40,000 followers.
Wow.
All from simple reporting on local happenings that everyone wants to know. Projects, developments, some pop culture stuff. If I cover a restaurant, it's not, oh, here's my top 5 brunch spots. It's, we just found out what's going in that old building, and this is what you need to know. And I tell people what's going there. It's not, hey, I went there and this is the best pizza in town. No, it's, hey, we're getting a new pizza spot that's taking over the old BW3s. Here's what you need to know. So it's like, what's changing around town? A new intersection we just had. Any big law changes or anything. It's public knowledge that's usually gate-kept behind a paywall on the newspaper website. But you can go and look up all of these public meetings where they talked about it. It's all public knowledge.
So
I'm just repackaging it.
What's your cadence? Do you do it daily? Do you do it? And do you
I try daily.
Do you batch it or do you do one a day every day?
Both. So I try and batch, but when you're doing the news, there's always times where you're like, oh, I got to pull the car over and record a video. Because you get to this point where people are following you for the news and like you have to be one of the first ones to do it. But there's other things that like you can batch out that aren't as important, and then you just fill it in as they happen. And it also depends week to week because the beginning of the month is usually busier with the public meetings. Is usually the first week and a half, 2 weeks is where the county and the city have all their meetings. So going through, okay, like how am I I don't want to front load all the big projects. Like we want to mix them in with some smaller ones. And you learn what your audience resonates with.
Right. Now, when you say public meetings, do you actually go to the public meetings?
No.
So how do you source your information?
So find your public meetings. I'm fortunate here that they're all streamed on YouTube Live.
Okay. So it's like Charleston public meetings, or is it little suburbs?
City of Charleston public meetings is the name of one of the YouTube channels. And it's there. YouTube has the transcript. I copy the transcript. I go over to, I use Notebook LM, which is Google's note-taking AI. Paste the transcript, and I say, give me a list of all of the projects with a brief description. And it breaks everything down. And then I can go through and pick out which ones are video worthy.
Right.
And then I can just keep asking it questions until I have what I need to make that video. And then you go onto the city website and you find the agenda for that meeting, because they have to post all the slides and the plans and everything that someone is presenting to the Board of Architectural Review, the Planning Board, the Design Review Board, anything. That's all there. You can go in and you can take the pictures out of there. So now you don't even have to go Googling for images of it usually. It's all right there.
Wow.
You just go and pull it. Public information, I'm just doing the legwork for the public. And like I said, it stemmed from clients asking questions and everything, but also like when you think about when you first started in real estate, like things that people have said, and they're like, you're a advocate for your community. You have to be this advocate. And it's become this like, realtors are advocates for the community. What do we do?
Right.
What are you actually doing? Like this to me, yes, it's my marketing, but it also feels like my community service almost. To give back to the community, to educate people. And in turn, I get business from it. I mean, I get recognized walking down the street. I had dinner with or lunch with some people from the mayor's office last week, and I've become this like little local celebrity.
That's
and
fun.
Kind of, yeah, I get like, we walk down the street or we're somewhere and people are like, you that guy from Instagram? I'm like, yeah, it's me. Unless my wife is there. I'm like, oh yeah, it is. Hey, how are you? And then I make her
Because
all
the thing is that those that follow you or you take in this information, they only care about Charleston. You're not going to have some rando from Tampa Bay investing time in that typically to watch, although sometimes if they're going to move to Charleston or if they're going to go visit.
I had a call today,
it's
sometimes, hey, I saw your videos when we were looking to relocate, and you seem to know everything that's going on.
I love that.
I'm like, well, that's my point.
So do you do, other than public meetings, do you have Google News alerts or anything like that to add more into it?
Yeah, and then you're going through the news sites, the Business Journal, the other Instagram accounts, the news Instagram accounts. Yeah. And you're going through all that. So you just have your list that you're like, okay, that's what I'm doing today. Let's see what's going. I usually have a little spreadsheet of, okay, like main topics, here's some filler topics. Are these even going to get recorded topics? Just to see how things are going to fall.
Do you script it out, or do you just off the cuff talk?
No, I script it out, and I use my phone to record everything. And I use a teleprompter app.
Do you put it like into a chat GPT to get the script, or do you you make your own script?
I know a lot of people that do, but for me, I don't even know how many videos I've done so far, but I can pretty much ask my AI for the outline. Then from that outline, I can type it up real quick, because one of the things I've been really good about, and I always go back to, is I am only there to deliver the facts, and they need to stay center of the road. So rarely do I give an opinion. I don't want people to argue with me. I want them to argue with each other and debate each other in the comments. I want that interaction.
Right.
So I don't want to talk about a new hotel that's coming and be like, I can't wait for this hotel. It's going to be great for the city. Because then people are going to be like, you're ruining this town and blah, blah. But if I say, hey, new hotel just got approved. Here's what you need to know. And I list the facts, and I'm like, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Or I'll be like, I know y'all have deep thoughts about hotels, so just start arguing in the comments. I think I'll add in a little bit of humor that way. But I don't want to sway one way or the other. I want people to debate, because that gets you your engagement. But it also builds trust with everybody, because I'm shooting it straight.
That's true.
I'm like, here's your facts. This is what you need to know about this and nothing else. No fluff. I have 90 seconds to get in and out. So
when you say your AI, is that the Notebook LLM AI?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Its sole purpose is note taking. So that's why I've gravitated to that. I can just paste the whole transcript in and just ask for an outline, and it gives it to me, and I can just scroll through and figure out what my audience is going to engage with.
What
Because
percentage
at the
of
end
your
of the day, that's
business?
what you want.
What percentage of your business would you say is coming from social media at this point?
75%.
I was just talking with
So-
somebody yesterday who is active on TikTok, and she said 80% of her business is from. That's great, because that's a come list me or come work with me call, because they already feel comfortable with you, so you're not having to upsell yourself at all.
Yep.
It's like a decision already made, right?
Because we want people to know us, like us, and trust us. If I'm in front of them every day for 3 months while they're researching Charleston, they know me, they like me, and they trust me before they even call me. I don't have to build rapport. We jump right into it. And one of the first
It's
times,
just the where, when, and how much.
Exactly. One of the first times someone said this, like from YouTube, I asked them when I was like, okay, I think I have everything I need. Do you have any questions for me? And now I hear it all the time. But the first time you hear it, it's creepy. And they're like, no, we've watched all your videos multiple times. We feel like we know everything about you.
Wow.
And the first time someone
That
said
feels
that, I was like,
great, huh?
it's weird. But it
First
feels
started-
good.
When you first started, how long did it take for it to actually catch? Pretty quickly, or did it take a little bit?
It took a while. I made a lot of mistakes on YouTube to start out with. Once I figured it out, it took me 6 months to close my first deal from YouTube. And
But what about
it
the
was my
Instagram
highest
one?
sale.
What about the Instagram play?
So I have 2 under contract from Instagram right now. They're my first 2. One of them went under, they reached out in January, but they're new construction, so they'll close either August or September. So that one's been a while. I've had a lot in the works, because as we know, like people will be like, hey, I want to buy tomorrow. They're like, hey, I'm buying in 6 months. So that's where I am with Instagram. When it started, it was like a rocket ship. It just took off. And which is rare for some of these platforms to just like quick. And for me, it was like, okay, I don't know just how I'm going to convert this to business yet, because it was this uncharted territory. Like, I didn't know. So my goal for like the first 4 months of doing it was, I will figure out the lead gen part and the getting the clients part after I figure out everything else. I was like, let me just take this thing to the moon first. And then how do I pivot that into the clients? I wish I would have done it sooner, but it was like, I didn't really have anyone else to lean on right then that had seen that. So I was figuring it out on my own. Now I've got a little group. But that was how that started, because I didn't want to start off as it was like going up, and I didn't want to be salesy. And as it started going, I started figuring out, okay, how can I put in something to start a real estate conversation?
How'd
And
you
I
do
found
that
like
then?
stories and story polls
Okay.
work great. So now I've got these videos of 40,000 people follow me. When I put a story up with a story poll, sometimes I get 600-700 responses to people answering that
Whoa.
question.
Sheesh.
Right. Where before it was like if 5 people answered, I was like, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And now I get 500, 600, 700, and they're very specific. And then I can say, okay, if they responded this, I'm going to DM them this. If they responded this, I'm going to DM them this. And then now you're going into those DMs and starting those conversations based on
That's good.
that poll. Or just asking people in a video. Like I'm doing a video this week about a new neighborhood that's getting approved. And it's going to be years in advance, years before they even break ground. But it's a real estate video, so I can put a real estate call to action at the end of it. Okay, DM me buy if you want to buy a house before this even hits, before they even put shovels over here. You start learning that on how to not be super salesy and sleazy and
Engage.
and salesy all the time, but constantly engaging people and building that trust. And I have people not even from the polls or anything. They're like, hey, like, weird, but we're thinking about buying a house. I'm like, not weird at all. Let's schedule a call. Yeah. You have to tell people what to do, though. Like, you have to tell them that they can DM you. You have to tell them. Because a lot of people don't know how to start that conversation.
Yeah.
My friend Rick Lee told me this
Go ahead,
real
sorry.
quick. He told me, he's like, you got to tell people exactly what to do. because they don't know how to start the conversation. When I say DM me the word buy, if you're looking to buy a house, like it's so much easier for someone to just DM you the word buy as opposed to be like, hey, DM me if you're thinking about buying a house. I want to buy a house? No, that sounds weird. And then they don't. But if you tell them, make it easy, send me this one word, I'll start the conversation. You're just telling them like, hey, put your hand up. That's all I'm asking for. Put your hand up. I'll take it from there. And it starts off a lot smoother than them in their brain. Think about that. If someone was like, shoot me a DM for this, and you're like, I don't even know what to tell them. Like, how do I start this conversation without being awkward and weird? Let me be awkward and weird. You just raise your hand.
So if an agent wanted to add this as a lane in their business, what advice would you give based on your experience so far? If they wanted to start
yesterday.
Start yesterday.
There's a lot of agents getting into it right now, and including in my market. I now get DMs from people sending me their videos that say, hey, this guy's copying you, or you got another copycat. So take that into consideration. The faster you get on this in your market, the better off you are. Because there's not much room for more than one agent doing this. Someone is always going to look like a copycat. And you have to make it your whole personality. There's no other way around it. You can't just do 2 videos a week. Like, you need to start and say, I am doing a video a day for 60 days, for 100 days, for whatever. Commit to that. It becomes your personality. You need to be known for this. You can't just be known for, oh, that guy tells me what's going on every once in a while.
The news, to your point, the news is the news.
If the newspaper can put a story on the front page 365 days a year, you can find something to talk about 365 days a year. And it doesn't have to be big. So then
what's the process if they wanted to get started? They go into public meetings, news channels.
So that kind of does get like a little deeper into it, because I wasn't doing that at first. But if no one else is doing it, you have to think you can go back 6 months, a year to these big projects that are happening.
Good point.
And report on those. The first project I reported on was not new at all. But no one else had really put it out there. So I went back and I started doing those while I was figuring out how am I going to find the new stuff. So go back, get that stuff. Go into the business journal, go into the newspaper, go to the news channels' websites, the Chamber of Commerce, anything like that. Look up permits for different places. And then that's how you kind of get comfortable with it. That's the low-hanging fruit.
So then the agent gets the news. Let's say they're going to start. They've got some articles. And then you say that you get a script. You put it on a teleprompter on your phone. So you read it from your phone, like 60 to 90 seconds. Then you put it on to, do you use CapCut or where do you get the?
I use CapCut. Yeah.
Okay, background
So then you
kind of
need to figure out your format that you're going to do.
That's like the green screen is when you have an image behind you and then you put your video into CapCut is the easiest one I feel like to work with because they have you click background removal. So then your video has the vision or the picture behind. And I believe you use typically 3 photos or do you?
I do. Yep.
And then the 3 is just because that's how it's formatted the easiest way.
That's just how I started doing it. And
you
talk about the consistency. I say consistency of can you do it every day for 100 days, but also you have to look at the consistency of if it consistently looks and sounds the same, you're training the audience to know
it's you.
That's you. If you're switching it up every single time, it's going to take so much longer to build a loyal following. So when you look at mine, they're all the same. Every once in a while, it's different.
Now, with your pictures behind, how do you find photos that you're allowed to use and are not pixelated? Do you have a system for that?
So I get them from either the city agendas. If you're on like the newspaper's website or anything, be very careful if it says staff photo, don't use it. But sometimes on there, it'll say provided. That means they were given that photo. I'm like, I'll use that all day. If you need just like a generic photo, You could pull those from Canva.
Google. Oh, Canva. Okay.
Yeah, because everything you have on Canva is your license to use. So that's usually the best place to get like a generic photo. So let's say you're like, oh, there's this new park coming and you can't find any pictures.
Just do a
find
park.
one from there. Use Google Maps. I use Google Maps a lot.
Oh, okay.
Where, like, if a project is in a specific place, I'll just zoom in, I'll put it into Canva, and then I'll like outline
That's a good idea.
with the little like red marker where it is, and I'll use that as one of the pictures as a visualization of here's where it is. Use maps, use whatever. If you email somebody, like, hey, I want to report on this. Do you have any photos? Any
Right.
renderings I could use? I just did that. City just sent me a press release today. I emailed them back. I was like, do you have any pictures?
Oh, that's
They're like,
good.
yeah, we have very conceptual ones as long as you just let people know that it's like very conceptual pictures. It's like done. And they emailed me
Right.
pictures to use.
So if an agent gets started and, and they're consistent for, to your point, 100 days, and there is no traction, what would you say they're doing wrong?
I think that's where you need to, like, in those 100, I wouldn't wait till the end of the 100 days. Another friend of mine who did it, Bern McGovern, said it took him 45 days to really see it start to really turn up. So at least be consistent with the style for 45 days. And then think of a pivot you need to make. But also look at your comments, look at your engagement. Like I said, when I say I stay center of the lane, I see too many agents doing this they're trying to add too much personality into it, which was hard for me at first because I like to be funny. Like I've learned, like I can add jokes in. Like I did one about the airport, and they have a list of here's the destinations we would love to fly to nonstop, and Milwaukee is one of them. And if you're familiar with the movie Wayne's World and Alice Cooper, I pronounced it Milwaukee. And like I'm like rattling off all these names. I don't know how I did it with a straight face. My wife, she like cracked up when she watched the video. She's like, how did you do that with a straight face? But that was my little personality joke.
Right.
And the people in the comments loved it.
Oh,
Like
that's
they
awesome.
started quoting Wayne's World in there. So that's how I put the personality in, is that
I
way.
like
It's
that.
like a little like
Now,
sarcasm
do you
or like
cross-pollinate
jokes.
and put these videos on TikTok and YouTube Shorts as well? Or you just stay in?
I tried, but they did not get anything.
Okay.
I would put it on Instagram and it would get 30,000 views. I would put it on TikTok and it could get like 200.
Okay.
So that's when I pivoted with the TikTok to do the home tours. So now they're two separate entities. And I think it works. I like Instagram because it has the easiest one-to-one direct message
True. You're right.
to be able to
That's a good point. Yeah.
do that. It's the easiest,
That makes
most
sense, yeah.
convenient and well-known to one-to-one DM. Both ways, from me to them, from them to me.
I love
I think
that.
that's why it works, because you can start those conversations.
Bill, I
Respond.
really appreciate your time. And the last question I do like to ask is, you're moving out of Charleston tomorrow to a city that you've never lived in. You don't have a friend there. You don't have a sphere there. You don't have any agents there. And you're starting all over again. What's the first thing you do as a new agent in a new market?
I would do exactly what I'm doing. If no one else is doing this, I'm doing it, and I'm doubling down on it.
And when you say double down, what's that mean?
Oh, I would probably start with 2 videos a day.
Okay. Okay.
If I didn't have any business, and that's what I had to do. If I'm not
Plus,
running
you'd
around
learn
with
about your
clients
new
and I have
town faster.
Yeah, and I would start before I moved. I know agents that
Good
have
point.
moved markets, and at least 2 agents, they've moved markets, and they started doing this months before they relocated. So they were planting their seeds of knowledge
Awesome.
in that market when they still lived across the country.
I like
And
that.
but then again, you learn the area. You become an expert. You're immersing yourself
Yeah.
in the town. You know where everything is. You know what's happening.
I'll put all your stuff in the show notes, but just for listeners, your name is how you find you, right? On Instagram and everywhere?
Yeah,
Just
it's
Olson?
the.bill.olson
Ah, the.
on the. because just Bill Olson was taken, so I had to go fancy.
You elevated above the other person that way.
Yeah, my wife likes to
The
love it. She's
real
like,
Bill Olson.
The Bill Olson. I'm like, I am the Bill Olson.
You have your
The
kids
dot Bill dot Olson, and that's on
you go.
Instagram and TikTok.
Perfect.
In there.
Awesome. I really appreciate your time. You've been great, and
Thank you.
I look forward to staying in touch.
Thanks for listening to Rewriting Real Estate. If today's episode challenged your thinking or gave you a strategy worth trying, share it. The right move at the right time can change everything. Subscribe and listen in next week for more insight, more momentum, and more ways to grow your business your way.